Hey guys, what's happening? Anthony here for Trader Talk Weekly episode number 10. Now today we're talking about the perfectionist. Now this is an interesting one. We've all got those friends and family and those people we know who are perfectionists. They like everything to be just fine. But how does that translate over to trading? Well, let's dig into that today. So first and foremost, one of the main things with the whole perfectionist idea in trading is that when somebody who's got this tendency as their type of their personality or whatever it may be, when they come into trading, they can find that trading isn't something that you can really perfect. Now the person will generally try to look for perfection in the way their setups are, in their strategies. So they might try and find the perfect back-tested results, which as we know over time is not really something that is attainable in the markets. They might look to have perfectionists in their performance and that they never want to take any losses. They might be always looking for the perfect entries. They might always have their stops and their targets, and they always might be perfectionists in terms of like round numbers. They always might be showing those perfectionist tendencies and always trying to pick highs and lows or setting their profit targets at exact highs and lows. And anything where there's this ideal of the exact. Now the problem with this is the market is a whole idea of people like you and me, and we're all in this game, and there are times when people in the market show different types of, I guess, impatience. And if you think about round numbers and you think about entries, you think about waiting for the perfect prices and everything like that, there's going to be a time where someone out there is just impatient and they're like, I need to get in, and they just get in before the round number or before it gets to a perfect setup or whatever it may be, and that distorts the market, and that makes it a bit less easier for people who are perfectionists because they want everything to be perfect. They want it to always hit this and hit that, and they don't allow for that human side of the actual financial markets. And that point that, you know, people might influence FOMO. You know, for example, Bitcoin might not pull back to 0.382 on the next run. It might just keep going, but what are you going to do? If it doesn't wait, are you not in? You know, do you not have any sort of you know, overriding factors and things like that that go along with your strategy? So one of the main things that I want to try and help or get across is just take a look at ourselves. You know, we might all display perfectionist in different type of ways, and if you do display any of the particular ideas that I spoke of earlier around looking for the perfect setups, trying to find the perfect strategy and everything like that, what I would personally advise you to do is look at how you can change those perfectionist tendencies and put them into a different part of trading where it's actually very useful. So some of the ideas would be your journaling, and I think that's something you could be very, very perfectionist on your journaling. I mean, the people that I know and myself who have the most comprehensive sort of journals generally do the best and can take the most out of their journaling. So for example, I think as a perfectionist, instead of focusing on the executing as well, you want to be focusing on the process, right? So, you know, as well as if you find your perfectionist nature impacts your back testing, right, and you can never find the strategy, try and find something that is 80% to the way there of what you're looking for, and then really make sure you're executing it 100%. So use your perfectionist tendency in terms, and what I mean by executing is making sure you have a plan that incorporates some discretion and you're executing it. So you're following your management plan, you're following your entry plan, you're following your exit plan or your stop plan, you're following your journaling processes, and make that where you display perfectionist tendencies. I mean, you could also translate this particular aspect into your layouts, making sure your charts and your screens are always clean and not cluttered, don't have too many indicators. Your time schedule, so making sure you allocate enough time to be doing things not only related to testing, but reading, gaining more knowledge, watching content, talking to other traders, going to other networking events, just mixing with people. Organize your schedule so that you can get the most out of your time, and let your perfectionist nature really make you kill that area of your life. And there's also, just like we were speaking of before, with your ASR and your reviews. I think it's very important. Those who are more perfectionist around these particular things will pick up more, because they're going to be a lot more, I guess, almost aware when they are looking through their journaling and through their review. I find a lot of people that I know have work with, and other people I've seen through my time at the prop firm, who do tend to write things down, and then things don't always make sense. So it's almost like they're not consciously present. And you know, a perfectionist will basically not let that happen. You know, it has to be done right, in a certain order, in a certain day. And if you are a perfectionist, try to build that into your plan. Instead of trying to find the perfect setups, try and move it to somewhere else, you know. I mean, you could also do it as well on notes and knowledge. You know, if you read a book, let your perfectionist nature go and help you take down all the notes of all the key points, and then look to implement them and learn from them. You know, you can also build and use this too around your environment and your desk space. You know, making sure it's perfect, it's in clear working order, everything has its place. So those are a few ideas. These are ideas that will help you not feel that you're lacking in expressing this particular trait. So instead, it will help you find ways to channel that particular energy somewhere else, and where you can let your trading be more processed focused, instead of, you know, the outcome of trying to be a perfectionist, trying to not lose money or have a 100% win rate or whatever it may be. Focus your time on the process and everything around it, you know, even including diet, gym, routine, lifestyle, anything like that. Make that a bit more scheduled and timely, and add the perfectionist element into that, and you'll probably see a lot more benefits in your trading and yourself. Thanks again, guys. That's it for this week, and I'll see you next week.